Good morning, I'm Erin Guy with Nathalie Pozo. We are staying on top of breaking news with an update on a chemical leak in Belle Glade that's forced people to evacuate their homes. Nearby schools have had to go into lockdown, which have been lifted.
Right now, Palm Beach County Fire Rescue giving an update. Let's go ahead and listen in.
At 227 Avenue L in Belle Glade. At about 8:05 this morning, we got calls of a potential chemical and hazardous condition here. Workers came in and shortly thereafter saw a large white fog coming from the back side of this plant, and it was in the air and the wind was taking it to the south and to the west. We got units on scene inside of 4 minutes, and we were able to evacuate the area. We do know that there are a couple of schools to the south and west. That would be Lakeshore Middle School and Belle Glade Elementary. We immediately put those schools on, I believe it's a code yellow, or it was a lockdown to keep them sheltered in place. And we also evacuated this plant immediately. The chemical that was involved was identified as chlorine dioxide. Evidently what chlorine dioxide was used for in this case is it was used as part of the chilling system for the vegetables that are stored here. Chlorine dioxide by itself is not an especially toxic or dangerous material. The NFPA has a hazard classification that has 4 different levels. Chlorine dioxide for health is considered a level 1, which is slight risk. For a little bit of comparison, propane would be a level 2, so this is not a very dangerous. By 8:22, we had stopped the leak and the plume had started dissipating, the fog had started dissipating. We have locked out and tagged out that entire system, and Pioneer Growers has contacted the people that service that. They are on their way to do final repairs on that. Initially, we had no reports of injury. However, about 15-20 minutes after things settled down, there were 2 people that were complaining of some mild discomfort. They have been transported to a local hospital, and we have also set up in the far corner over there a triage area for anyone on scene who may also want to be checked out. We have no other reports of injuries or people having symptoms at this time. We have gone ahead and done atmospheric monitoring inside the building, outside the building, in the area, and also at both of the schools. Atmospheric monitors have come back negative. So that's where we are for right now. The negative readings at the schools, negative readings here. We have something set up if somebody wants to get checked out here that may have been exposed. Anytime there's a gas leak or a gas exposure, the way the body works is it can sometimes take a very short time or a long time for symptoms to develop, and that's why we're going to remain on scene for a while just to make sure that everyone is safe. Do you have any questions for me?
Captain Reyes, you mentioned that this was a level 1 type of chemical leak, and that there were really no significant injuries, but as soon as we arrived here, you can obviously smell it in the air. What is your advice for people who maybe live in the area who may have some breathing issues? Will this affect them?
Well, I want to clarify. I cannot smell the chlorine dioxide in the air right now, so I'm not exactly sure. You may be able to. I cannot. I just want to clarify that. For people that have respiratory issues, maybe stay inside for a while, but with this wind coming and the fact that the release has been contained, the area should be cleared out very shortly. So if not totally clear by now.
And were there workers inside when this happened, or they were all arriving this morning as the...
I'm not sure what time they arrived, but there were workers inside, and we did wind up evacuating the building. Where this actually occurred was not inside the building. It was in that on the back side of the building. It was sort of an open area. It had one wall, but there were 3 other areas that were open. So it wasn't like the fog, the plume was contained inside the building. It actually did release.
And what were the biggest concerns when you initially got this call?
The biggest concerns, as with any chemical release or hazardous release, is figuring out what is the product that we have. And once we found out it was chlorine dioxide, we were able to sort of relax a little bit because it wasn't a worst case scenario. As I said, the chlorine dioxide, as far as the NFPA, the National Fire Prevention Association, has that as a hazard class 1, which is the lowest of the levels that are there. So.
How often do you get calls like this?
You know, we are an all hazards incident. We do get chemical releases. They do happen. It's just a matter of you know, being ready. And that's one of the things that we were able to do as Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. Our battalion chief set up one of our ladder trucks out of the area, out of the immediate plume area, and we were able to get an aerial view to make sure that people were doing okay. We didn't see anybody in distress. We have gone to local businesses, local areas around here to ensure the safety. We have gone ahead and moved some rescues out west, so that way should there be an increasing incident, which we do not believe is going to happen, but should there be, we have the ability to respond quickly for the residents of the Belle Glade area.
Some questions for you.
Yes, sir.
A mileage approximation of how far this gas might have went in the area. Do you have that right?
I do not. I do know that the wind was blowing out of the northeast at about 8 to 10 miles per hour, and this particular gas rises. So it's.
And while it's contained now, would you tell the public, since the wind is blowing, it could be blowing in a certain direction? Are you telling the public right now that they don't have anything to worry about because it should be up out of the sky? How do you?
At this point, we do not foresee having any issues for the general public. Our concern right now, our initial concern obviously was the schools and the people here. The schools have a negative reading. We have been in touch with the school district, and they are aware of what's going on. And we do have a triage area available here should any of the employees want to get checked out.
And lastly, we'll ask the company this, of course, but do you know exactly what went wrong here? Is it just contained or is it fixed?
At this point, it is contained, or the leak has been shut off. At Fire Rescue, we have these kits called lockout tagout kits, where we are able to seal something and turn it into a zero electrical state so that it can't work, and we actually lock it out. And when the company that does the maintenance on this, we will actually have to come in and unlock it so that way they can fix the problem.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And everything was evacuated.
And you have been listening to Captain Tom Reyes with the Palm Beach County Fire Department giving us an update on that chemical leak out of Belle Glade. He said it happened just after 8 o'clock this morning at Pioneer Growers. That is an agricultural facility on Northwest Avenue L. Now, what Captain Reyes said was that they were able to figure out that the leak was chlorine dioxide, which is a chilling system that is used for vegetables. Again, this is an agricultural facility. They say workers who arrived around 8:05 this morning went in and saw this white fog coming from behind the facility, but Captain Reyes did say that the leak has been shut off at this time.
And some more good news. They said it has only a slight risk when it comes to a health concern. That was one thing our Josie Carbonari asked is, what would you advise people who are walking out? She was saying she could still smell it out there. He said, you know, if you need to stay inside, he didn't, the captain said he didn't smell it at that point, but said that if you needed to stay inside, perhaps that'd be your best plan right now. And they said they had a couple of people who had some mild discomfort. They did send them to the hospital, but they also had some kind of triage areas, if you will, set up that if people needed to be checked out, wanted to double check to make sure they're okay, they do have that set up. As far as schools are concerned and around the area, they were saying they did an atmospheric monitoring and all of those tests came back negative.
Yeah, so they said the facility, it came back negative, and in those nearby schools as well. And just to give you a perspective, they said that the chlorine dioxide is a level 1, and then they said propane is a level 2.
To give you kind of an idea.
Just to give you an idea of how they were saying that it's not especially